You keep apologizing for things you never did, and somehow it still feels like your fault. You keep replaying that conversation, wondering why you feel guilty when you were the one who got hurt. There was a moment, maybe last week, maybe last night, when you said sorry for something you never actually did wrong. You felt it in your chest, that small collapse, that quiet surrender. You told yourself it was nothing, that you were overreacting. But underneath that thought, something else was whispering. What if you are not overreacting? What if you are simply used to being handled? This is not a video about villains. Real manipulation almost never looks cruel. It looks like warmth with a hook hidden inside it. It looks like someone who says they love you right before they make you feel small. A friend, a partner, a parent, sometimes a boss, who has learned, maybe without fully realizing it, that your comfort can be traded for their control. You already know some of this. Somewhere inside you is a list of moments that never fully made sense, moments where you apologized too fast, moments where you doubted your own memory, moments where you gave up something you cared about just to keep the peace. We are going to open that list, slowly, honestly, without shame. The goal is not to make you afraid of everyone around you. The goal is to give you your own mind back. Most people think manipulation is about being weak-minded. It is not. Some of the most intelligent, self-aware, emotionally generous people are the easiest to manipulate, precisely because they care, precisely because they try to understand others instead of protecting themselves. If you always search for the reasonable explanation, if you always assume good intent, you are not naive. You are someone who has not yet been taught what to watch for. That changes today. The first sign hides in a feeling more than in words. It is the sense that after being around a certain person, you feel smaller, more anxious, less sure of yourself, even if nothing dramatic happened. Manipulation is rarely loud. It is a slow erosion, 1,000 tiny moments where your opinion gets dismissed with a laugh, where your feelings get labeled as too sensitive, where your reality quietly gets rewritten in someone else's favor. If a relationship consistently leaves you doubting your own perception, that discomfort is information. The second sign is twisting the story. It happens when you bring up something that hurt you, and by the end of the conversation, you are the one apologizing. The facts blur. The timeline shifts. Your memory gets treated as unreliable, while theirs becomes the only version allowed to exist. If you regularly leave conversations more confused than when you started, someone may be benefiting from that confusion. The third sign is guilt used as a leash. Healthy people can disagree with you without punishing you for it. Manipulative patterns use guilt as a steering wheel, quietly reminding you of everything they have done for you right when you try to set a boundary. Suddenly, your simple no becomes betrayal. Suddenly, your need for space becomes proof that you do not care. Real love can handle your boundaries. Control cannot. The fourth sign is the disappearing apology. Watch how someone responds when they hurt you. Do they take responsibility? Or explain why you made them react that way? A genuine apology sounds like, "I was wrong. I am sorry." A manipulative one sounds like, "I am sorry you feel that way," or "I would not have done that if you had not pushed me." Notice how the second version somehow ends up being your fault again. The fifth sign is affection with conditions. Warmth that only appears after you comply is not warmth, it is a reward system. If kindness arrives exactly when you agree, exactly when you give something up, exactly when you stop asking questions, and disappears the moment you assert yourself, that is not connection, that is training, and you were never meant to be trained. The sixth sign is isolation dressed up as closeness. It rarely sounds like, "Do not see your friends anymore." It sounds gentler. It sounds like, "They do not really understand you like I do," or "Why do you need them when you have me?" Slowly, your circle narrows. Slowly, one person becomes your only source of validation. The smaller your world becomes, the easier it is to define your reality for you. The seventh sign is the slow disappearance of your own preferences. You stop knowing what movie you actually want to watch, what job you actually want, what version of your life you actually want, because you have spent so long adjusting to someone else's comfort that your own voice has gone quiet. If you feel like a stranger inside your own choices, that numbness did not come from nowhere. You are not weak for missing these signs. You are not foolish, and you are not broken. Manipulation hides inside familiar feelings, love, loyalty, guilt, hope. Recognizing it is not a failure. It is the first real step toward taking your mind back. If this is already making you look at certain people, certain patterns, differently, that is exactly the clarity this channel exists for. Staying close here, subscribing, is simply the next honest step on that path. Here is the part that changes everything, the deeper truth underneath all 7 signs. Manipulation does not survive on strength. It survives on doubt. Every pattern we just walked through works by making you question your own perception, your own worth, your own right to want something different. The antidote was never about becoming harder or more suspicious of everyone around you. The antidote is rebuilding trust in your own perception. That starts small. It starts with writing things down, instead of only remembering them, so your memory of events cannot be quietly rewritten by someone else. It starts with noticing your body's reaction before you analyze the words, because your body often senses the truth before your mind agrees to accept it. It starts with allowing yourself to say, "I need time to think about that," instead of answering instantly under pressure. And it starts with surrounding yourself, even in small amounts, with people who make your voice louder instead of smaller. You do not need to confront everyone today. You do not need to burn every relationship down the moment you recognize a pattern. Awareness is slow, steady realignment, choosing, moment by moment, to trust yourself a little more than you did yesterday. That single shift, trusting your own perception again, is what turns a person who gets shaped by others into a person who shapes their own life. Here is the question to sit with tonight. Not who has manipulated you, but where in your life have you already stopped trusting yourself, and what would it feel like to trust that voice again? Tell me in the comments which of these 7 signs hit closest to home, or which one you actually disagree with, because sometimes the pattern we resist naming the most is the one we need to look at first. You were never too sensitive. You were never too much. You were simply someone who had not yet learned what to look for. Now you have. Carry that quietly, use it gently, and let it be the beginning of a version of you that nobody else gets to define.